you taking the 49ers at plus 750, or are you taking the Commanders at plus 850?
Jenks, you want to go first?
Go ahead, Jenks. Yeah, go ahead, Jenks.
You know what? I know everyone's going to say, oh, you're going to go with the Commanders. And you're right. I am going to go with the Commanders. But
and
here's
you're
the
right.
thing. And you are correct. You would be absolutely
Great
correct.
call by the haters.
Yeah, all you haters, guess what? You were exactly right. But this is less about the Commanders and more about the 49ers. Like, I cannot believe the Niners are plus 750 to win the NFC. That is a screaming ripoff to me. And I understand they still have Kyle Shanahan, and I understand they still have a ton of talent. But if you look at the players that they lost, like, okay, Deebo Samuel, Kyle Juszczyk had better years previously. I understand why you let those guys go. But Dre Greenlaw, Talanoa Hufanga, Aaron Banks, their starting left guard, all those guys are gone. Christian McCaffrey, you can never really rely on him to stay healthy throughout an entire season. So they have lost some really important pieces here that I don't think have maybe gotten the publicity or the attention that they deserve, because we do focus on Shanahan and that offense. And yeah, they're still talented, but man, they've lost again on that defensive side of the football, which has been their bread and butter for years. They're not going to be the same. And because of that, I think the Commanders still have money to spend. They still have capital out there so they can get better. I haven't seen that from the Niners. I'm going with the Commanders here.
Yeah, it feels like the obvious answer, right? Just because the purge that we've seen in San Francisco. And we see this with a lot of teams who are contenders for several years, that eventually the contracts just don't make sense and you've got to free up some cap space. So it feels like that's what the 49ers are doing here. So am I going to choose the team that looked much better last year and has the more upside at quarterback? And plus, we've talked about this. The Commanders are in the exact opposite position where they had a ton of cap space going into this offseason. So they get to make the big splashing moves. It feels like the vibes are right, because here's the thing: when you break up a team like the 49ers, it's not just the guys who are leaving the locker room. It's like the connection that those guys had. Like, I know Kyle Juszczyk was like one of the main guys. They're always posting videos and pictures of them like vacationing together. Those guys are a really tight-knit group. So when you start to break up the locker room of a team like that, it just feels like the chemistry kind of goes out the window. So maybe I could be wrong here with the 49ers, but I'm going to go with the Commanders as well.
Here's my problem. I'm going to take the Commanders too, but I'm going to go with a little bit of a different angle. How long has it been since CMC has played a full season? That team and that offense is dictated by that running back being able to make plays. And for me, he hasn't been healthy for the last 2 years. You still don't know if his legs are good. You also have Brandon Ayuk coming off a torn ACL as well. I mean,
and he got paid.
They're damaged goods, people. Damaged goods. So absolutely jumping all over Commanders at plus 850. And I think they're going to make big moves in the draft as well and get pieces just to add to the offense and defense. All right, let's move on to the next one. Which team will have the better record this upcoming season? Broncos at minus 110 or Chargers at minus 110?
Shall I go first, since you went first last time?
Yes.
This is a tough one. I feel like this is pretty much a pick 'em, and some of it will depend on the schedule. But the Broncos are quietly adding some nice pieces. We were just talking about Dre Greenlaw. Didn't he go the Broncos? It feels like the Broncos are a team that still feels like they're on the come up. Because think about it. Normally when you have a rookie quarterback, you're expecting some bumps and some bruises and some growing pains. We didn't really see that last year. Bo Nix was pretty good. Obviously, he doesn't have the high-end potential of somebody like Jaden Daniels, but we're also looking across the way at a team like the Chargers, who do have a good quarterback, but Justin Herbert has not really proven it in the postseason thus far. So I'm going to go with the Broncos here. It feels like they have more upside. I really trust Sean Payton. If you look at his record, like, when's the last time he won fewer than like 8 games? It feels like never. So I think I'm going to go with the Broncos here. I do like what the Chargers are doing. And to be clear, I feel like it's going to be really close. I'm going to go Broncos here.
Yeah, you took the words right out of my mouth, honestly. I feel the same way with Greenlaw and Hufanga as well. I mean, both of those guys are coming over from the 49ers, and this was already a top 5 defense last year. I'm telling you one thing, come the fall, we're going to be talking about how nasty that Denver defense is. And they already have arguably the best corner in the game in Patrick Surtain. Like, they are going to be so good. And everything we've heard about Bo Nix is that he's a guy who is constantly studying film. He's a student of the game. You don't always get that with young quarterbacks. You assume you're going to. That's not always the case. And you've got a guy who's sort of a quarterback whisperer anyway in Sean Payton. I want it to be the Chargers because I love Harbaugh and I love Jim Harbaugh, and I think he's done a great job already with L.A., but man, and especially think about in a couple years when Russell Wilson's salary finally gets off the books. I think it's the final year, they're better upside. So I'm going to go Denver.
I'm actually going against both of you because I like the Harbaugh. Harbaugh. I think under the radar, they went out and got Najee Harris, who's had a 1,000-yard season for his first 4 seasons. I think he flourishes with the LA Chargers. I also think they go out and get a number 1 wide receiver in this upcoming draft to help out Justin Herbert. I still think he's a Bears illegitimate child, and they just don't want anybody to know about it. So there you go.
An actual bear?
No, Abear. You remember the quarterback from the Saints?
Oh, Bobby Abear?
Bobby Abear. I think he's the illegitimate child of Bobby Abear. They just say it's Herbert instead of Abear.
Oh, I thought you said a bear.
What a pull.
I was like, a bear? A bear?
A legitimate bear. A grizzly.
A real bear. Okay, that makes sense. I got it now.
I feel like whoever that would be good in the NFL, right? Half bear, half man.
Animal.